posted by F Mop and Pray. So I took this night janitor job last month. $35 an hour, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Easy money, right? Wrong. Let me explain why I now carry holy water in my mop bucket. The job offer, I answered this super shady ad online. Seeking night custodian. Discretion required, no prior experience needed. They didn't even interview me. Some guy named Mr. Whitaker just emailed, "You start Monday. Key will be under the mat." The building? An old 7-story office complex downtown that's been abandoned since the early 2000s. Why a building with no tenants still needs nightly cleaning? Yeah, I should have asked more questions. The rules. When I arrived, there was a printed note taped to the front desk. Welcome, custodian. Follow these rules. 1. Clean floors 1 to 3 only. 2. Never enter the 4th floor. 3. Ignore any knocking from stairwell doors. 4. If the mirrors whisper, do not respond. 5. Always leave by 4 a.m. sharp. Totally normal stuff. But $35 an hour is $35 an hour, baby. The first shift, everything started fine. The place was dusty but manageable. Around midnight, though, I heard it. Knocking. Soft but steady, from the stairwell. I remembered rule number 3 and kept mopping. But then the elevator dinged, even though I never touched it. The doors slid open, revealing nothing, just the number 4 lit up above. Yeah, cool. Definitely not horrifying. I continued whistling nervously, like any idiot in a horror movie. The mirror incident. At 1:17 a.m., I checked. I entered the restroom on the 2nd floor. That's when I heard it for the first time, the mirror whispering, "Hey, custodian, come closer." Now listen, I've made some poor decisions in life, including applying for this job, but talking to demonic reflective surfaces isn't one of them. I backed out like a crab on roller skates. But as I left, my reflection didn't leave with me. It just stood there, smiling. I may have soiled my mop water slightly. The 4th floor, of course, I eventually got curious, because I'm human and stupid. So on my 5th shift, I peeked up the stairwell toward the forbidden 4th floor. The door was slightly ajar. Cold air seeped out, smelling like mildew and, oddly, birthday cake. Inside was this huge ballroom-like space. Dozens of mannequins in business suits stood perfectly still, all facing one massive full-length mirror at the far end. Suddenly, they all turned toward me, in complete unison. I slammed that door so hard I think it bent the frame. The manager. The next morning, Mr. Whitaker called me. "Did you open the 4th floor?" "No, sir. Definitely not." "Good. They don't like being seen." "Who is they, sir?" But I kept my mouth shut because the money still cleared. The climax. 2 nights ago was the worst. At around 3:50 a.m., I was finishing up when the mirror in the lobby exploded. Shards flew everywhere, but there was no impact, no heat. Just screaming. Human screaming from inside the glass. Then all the other mirrors throughout the building joined in. The whispers turned to wails. I swear one of them said, "The custodian stays." Nope, nope, nope. I sprinted out the front door barefoot because my shoes stuck to the bleeding floor. The aftermath, Mr. Whitaker texted me the next day. "Minor breach. Thank you for your service. Tonight's shift resumes at 10 p.m. Sir, I quit. I haven't gone back since. But they still text me every night. Shift begins soon. The worst part, sometimes I swear I see my own reflection in mirrors that aren't there now. Update 1. They followed me home. Posted by Use Mop and Pray 1 week later. So, remember how I said I quit? Yeah, that didn't stop them. For the past few nights, I've started hearing faint knocking inside my apartment walls. It's the same rhythmic knock from the stairwell at the office building. At first, I thought I was just being paranoid. Then my bathroom mirror fogged up while I was showering, and I saw handprints on the inside of the glass. I live alone. Later that night, my phone buzzed. New text. "Mr. Whitaker, you're late. Please report for your shift." I blocked his number. He called from another one. I swear I even saw my reflection move on its own again. It winked. Twice. I don't know how far their reach goes, but quitting may not have been enough. Update 2. There's something new now. Posted by You Mop and Pray 3 weeks later. Okay, I made the terrible decision to return to the building. Not for work. I'm not that stupid, but because I needed answers. I met a former janitor named Carl through a private forum. He worked there in the 80s. He called the entity in the mirrors the Smiler. But then he said something else that chilled me. The Smiler wasn't the only one. The 4th floor holds something called the Tall Man. Unlike the Smiler, this one doesn't whisper or reflect. He stands, perfectly still in any dark corner he can find. Carl described him as 8 feet tall, skin like wet paper, face stretched into a permanent screaming expression, eyes that roll unnaturally in every direction. The mannequins on the 4th floor? Those aren't just props, they're his shells. Carl said, "The Smiler draws you in. The tall man makes sure you never leave." That night, I made the horrible mistake of sneaking up to the 4th floor again, just once. The mannequins turned like before, but this time, one of them moved, not turned, stepped forward. Its mouth gaped open wider than humanly possible, and its eyes rolled inside its head like marbles. I ran so hard I nearly broke my ankle on the stairs. The elevator opened on its own again, flashing 4, like it wanted to give me a ride back. I kept running. Update 3, the lease agreement, posted by You Mop and Pray 1 month later. So here's where it gets somehow even weirder. I received a certified letter yesterday, official-looking envelope, no return address. The sender? Whitaker Property Management. Inside was a lease agreement. It claimed I am now under contract to serve as permanent custodial vessel for the property. What the hell? In the fine print, it says, "Failure to fulfill custodial obligations may result in transfer of corporeal rights." I don't know if this is some cursed contract or an elaborate threat, but wait, there's more. Attached was a photo. It was a grainy, black and white still from one of their security cameras. Timestamp, the night I returned to the 4th floor. In the photo, standing directly behind me in the stairwell, was the tall man. I never saw him that close. I've contacted a priest, a paranormal investigator, and honestly, I may start learning exorcism on YouTube. The building still texts me every night. Shift begins soon. TLDR, I tried to quit my haunted janitor job. The mirrors followed me. There's a second creature called the Tall Man. They sent me a lease agreement claiming they now own me.